Hi, it's Jess here from Nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So I am doing a project with this lovely Field and Flower DSP. It's a freebie in Celebration, and I've used quite a bit of it, as you can see, but I still got half a pack and bits left, but it's like I haven't had it long because we had all those delays, so we've only got a few days left to Celebration. It ends on the 28th, so I thought lots of you have got this because I've seen lots and lots of pictures of people using it, so I thought I'd do a project with it. I am trying to use up DSP. If you know me, look at my state of my hand, soz. I'm a bit of a paper hoarder. Anybody that knows me knows that I just sit there and go, I'm stroking that and I'm not using it, but I am using it. So yesterday I had a fabulous day making this, and you might recognize this. That's a very old piece of DSP which I love, and so I've made myself a little mini TN traveler's notebook with some lovely DSP that I've had for a very long time. So I haven't got any elastic. That should be elastic, but I used my last little bit of elastic up, so I need to get some. So that's just tied at the moment, some baker's twine, not SU sauce, just what I happen to have. So I put some eyelets in there to hold it closed, and then so this is covered, this is laminated, and I was a bit clever with my lamination, and so that I was able to create a little pocket there. I'll show you how I did that. Oh, look, those hexagons get everywhere, don't they? So yeah, so I just made this little notebook, and I've got a little pocket there at the back, and yeah, I thought the colours went really well. That was a little bit spooky. I didn't quite orchestrate it that way. It just turned out. So so what I've done is I've got these sheets here, and then every other sheet is a nice piece that I cut that really dreadfully. This is 120 GSM copy paper, so thick copy paper. So I've got some beautiful papers, and then a nice bit of copier paper, and then some of these copier papers I've put pockets on as well. So my thought is that I'm going to be using this to sort of record things. That's the wrong way, that annoys me. That's going to get covered as I stick things in it. And so some of the paper is only 6 by 6, so because these are 4 inches wide, so we've got ourselves a little pocket there, so we can use 6 by 6 in here, as well as cutting down your 12 by 12. So yes, a real blast from the past. That is one of my favorite paper packs. So yeah, so I just sort of matching up different colors. I didn't want to cover that at all, and then I had a little strip. I thought, oh, that might look nice on the other side, so I might do that with other pages as well. But that's really old, really old, that. So they're all Stampin' Up. I love that. So that's my little double page. So I've sewn it with some baker's twine, and then this is the one that goes round there, which should be elastic, so you can take it out and take it in. So this cover's laminated, so it can be used. So I can write down my thoughts of and put photos, just memories, stick tickets in, whatever. So I do want to actually get a little bit better at actually recording things. I also thought this might be an ideas book, so I can sort of pop a picture of something that I've made, a particular project that I like, and then I could have the instructions tucked in there or something, or maybe some bits of the prototypes. Yeah, then Casper the Ghost is on his side. This was the first page I tried out, and then I just stuck it in, and this one I couldn't decide if I wanted that pocket or that pocket, so I decided I'd just leave it, and I might stick one down at some point depending on what goes on that page. So yeah, that is my little mini TN. So I am going to make another one, but out of this paper as well. Right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm just going to cut the copy of paper up. So this is 120 GSM, so it's a little bit thicker because I thought I might end up drawing on it. I might end up doing some little bit of art journaling on it. I'm not sure. So I wanted a little bit thicker than the little list. Okay, so I made the page deliberately so you could get 2 out of a sheet. So I did do it by cutting where I normally cut for half a sheet, and then I remembered that I do have a lot of people in the US that watch me, and their paper size is 11 inches long. So I'm going to cut this down at 5.5 so that everybody can make it, and I don't have to say just resize for your paper. So 5.5, and then it's 8 inches wide. So again, that fits. Our paper size is 8.25, and in the US it's 8.5, but I made it 8. So 8 by 5.5, and I did 6 pages. So you need 3 A4 sheets. Obviously, if you haven't got paper this thick, then use what you've got. You could use thinner cardstock, and then we're just going to then score it at 4 inches for our page, and then we just fold it in half, and that's it. That's our pages. Now you will find as you stack the pages up, the ones in the middle protrude a bit, so they will need trimming down, but we'll do that later. So that's 2. Let's right, so that's my 6 pages. So now we want the other pages. Okay, so these are going to be cut at the same size. Now some of these have been cut down because have been making thank you gifts with these, so they have been cut down, but as I've shown, you can use 6 by 6, so that is 6 wide, so that's probably is 8. That's probably the right size. Oh, it is. So there's no point cutting that down to 6 by 6 because it's actually okay as it is. So we want it 5.5. And score it 4. So that's one of the pages. Because that's directional, so this one will have to get cut down. So it's pretty this, isn't it? So I don't know why I cut it down to 6, because it's 5.5, isn't it? Duh. All the little offcuts you can use. So I'm going to, because I'll probably end up trimming, so I'm going to do that at 3 7/8 actually. So that's going to give us a smaller sheet, but I've cut it slightly narrower there so that this goes towards the middle, won't protrude out so much. I can't believe that I am just cutting into this DSP without any thought or worry. This has been quite liberating for me, getting DSP late on in a promotion, and I just have to use it. So this might help me to be a little bit more using my DSP quicker. I've actually got another project that I'm going to do, which is using about half a pack of DSP. So there we go. I may change that one to a full sheet, being as none of the others are half, but for the moment we'll leave it at that. Where's my bone folder? There we go. Let's give these all a bit of a good crease. So we will be adding pockets from the offcuts. And so I might change that one. Yeah, I will decide as I'm sort of putting things together. And so I've made this so it's going to be like a reversible one. So if I'm going to make that the front cover, then that might be the first page. Yeah, so that's going to be the first page. Obviously it'll be a different sheet that is the front cover. So let's go that way, have a bit of that one, love that one, that one. That's kind of, and you can see how it's protruding out. So then we're going to layer up these. So every other sheet. Goes that way. That way. And then in the centre we have that. So that is basically the book, and what I did was I sewed the signatures there, so you've got a little bit of sticking out there. Because there's so many to cut through, it is quite hard, but what you can do is sort of make a mark. Kind of tried this, sort of making a mark to give you an idea of where you want the cuts to be, and hope you manage to get it done. So I'm going to bring in my little guillotine. It is easier if you don't faff like this, but I am a faffer. So I'm going to take those, because I can cut those together. I can see the mark is there. And I can cut that down. So I'm cutting sort of 2/8 of an inch off there. Not 2/8, 2/16. No, it is 2/8. Just under 2/8, about 3/16. We will take off there. And that is kind of level with the front cover. So we now take the next two out. And again, I can see that it's there. I've seen junk journalers do this, and they have like those rotary blades, and it's just really quick and really simple and really neat when they do it. But I don't have one of them. seen people do it with a Stanley knife. So we're doing a 16th less on this. That was 3/16. So this is 2/16. Oh. So now that's nice and even there. Cooking on gas. You can decide whether or not that is enough, or if you want to do a little bit more. You can see a few that are still protruding out, but that is probably good enough for me. And as you sew it, it might go in a little bit more, so I'm not going to take any more off, but we've got some nicer edges than we had on my original. Okay, some little thin bits. I'm going to chuck them. Actually going to throw those in the bin. So now we need to do the sewing of the signatures. So I've got a bookbinding kit. I got it for Christmas. It was on my wish list. Yes, I was delighted I got it. You can use a pokey tool. I've got an owl. I quite like the owl. It's a little bit, well, it's not thinner at all. So pokey tool will do, our thingy tool will do, although I do find that's quite thick and I don't want it as thick as that. You need to make yourself a template for your holes. So this is the template I made. So you make sure it's the height of your booklet, signature as we call it, and you fold it in half. So you find the centre bit, you fold it in half again. So that is where your middle hole's going to be. And then we want to find the two outside. And what I do is I fold it in half and then I fold it in quarter. And it's that outer quarter that I use. Okay, this is what we call the 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Okay, so we get our pages all in together. We put our template so it's right up there. A little binder clip, put one on that side and I put one on that side. It's only a little signature. You can put binder clips on the ends of these if you want to, but I find that that's enough. Now the trick to make sure that that hole goes through and comes out at the edge of this spine is to poke your hole when it's I find it easier to hold. Poke your hole, so put that there ready in the hole with the book a little bit folded, and then it will come through where the spine bit is. Okay, I've done it when I first started doing it. I'd put it on a foam mat, hold it flat and go down, and then it would be left or right of centre, which is not really what you want. So I watched somebody, I can't remember who it was, pick your tips up in different places, don't you? And they said do it so that your book is slightly closed and it'll come out in the centre. That was like genius. Often these little ways around it are just little simple things. So you can see there the holes are nicely there on the spine. Now the most important thing to remember is to remove this. Okay, I have sewn in signatures with that in place, not to be recommended. So now we need to sew it. So I'm going to use some of our baker's twine, which of course I haven't brought with me. So I'm going to use our white baker's twine. So I'm going to move these out of the way. I like to put all my bookbinding stuff in the handy little bag it came in, and then I don't lose anything. Got my little stitch threader there. A needle would be useful. So a nice wide-eyed needle. So there's my needles. So get one of them out. Take that one. You've got to think about the fact that baker's twine is a little bit thicker than some of the threads I normally use, but it's okay. Might need my glasses. Even to put this through there. Oh no, we're in. We're in. 3 times the height of the book you're binding. That's rule of thumb. I know when I first sort of watched somebody stitching a signature, and I'm like, I'm just going to use a stapler, which you can use. I've got one of those long reach ones. Can use a stapler, but I often don't get the staple. This is my space for this, so it goes in there. I know it's in there. Put it in a drawer here, and that's where it lives. Yeah, I don't get it in the right place. It annoys me. So now, if you go in from inside out, you'll have the tie on the inside. If you go outside in, you'll have the tie on the outside, and that's where I want it. Usually I want them on the inside, but for this one, I want it on the outside. So now we've got to go in, and you make sure you're going in the holes that you've just made. I have obviously moved this slightly because I have gone all squiff. It's not in the right place. It's also harder to go from the outside in. There it is. Got ya. Got ya. Might put you back now. So coming in there, leave a length there. Okay. And then left too much. Go, doesn't matter if you go top or bottom, go in one of these and out through the hole you made. Don't be making any new holes. That's not what you want. Okay, pull it tight, and then I then bring it the other way because we want to go back in through that hole. We want to make sure that we don't split the thread. Okay, so we're pulling it out the way. That usually works. Okay, so pull that nice and tight, go through the other hole that's left, keeping it all pulled nice and tight. Put your needle underneath that thread, and then you're going to tie in a double knot, but just double check that's nice and tight, and then we'll do a double knot. I used patterned baker's twine on the other one because it was quite pretty. So double knot, and then I'll tie a bow. Don't have to. There we go. Some people put danglies on it, little charms. There we go. And that could be a little notebook in itself. Okay, and you take your bone folder, give it a nice good crease. I tend to go through it, nice big crease. So that's our little notebook. So very pretty notebook. So my idea is you put pictures and journaling on each page. It's clearly that way up. I think that's the only directional sheet. That is something that you've got to think about, is if you've got directional sheets, that you have put them the right way. Whew, I had. There's our middle. We're going to put pockets in there. So I know my friend Jill, she's like, I'm not really into vintage, Jez. You make all these journals, but I'd like to see something brighter. Well, Jill, this is for you. Something brighter. And Jill is one for writing things down in notebooks. So there we are. So you can see now where there's a bit there that I think should be trimmed down. So you can take your little trimmer, if there's any pages that are slightly out, then you can give it a little bit of a trim. So I'm just going to take a really little smidge, just a smidge, because you can always take some more off, but you can't put it back. And that's just a little bit, it's just a little bit better there, I think. You could faff with it for ages, but I don't think you need to scrutinise it that much, really. It's a handmade journal. If you want something that's perfect, go buy one in a shop. But what is the fun of that? So that is our basic journal done. So now we're going to add some pockets and make our cover. I think that one's going to get. So with this pocket, so I had several of them. I'm just going to put glue up each side and stick it down. So we've got a little pocket, or you can leave it as a shorter one, but I am going to make that a pocket. I think it's nice to have a pocket on every page, so that you've got somewhere that you can put little memorabilia, bits of, or ephemera, ticket stubs, receipts, photos, little tags. I'll probably make some tags just so that you can write things on. But that is a basic little signature. And how lovely, with each page that you turn over, you've got this beautiful paper. And I quite like the fact that I can look at this lovely paper whenever I open it. So, yeah. Right, so we'll carry on with the next bit. So we're going to make it slightly smaller than the one I've made, because obviously I made these 5.5 tall. So I'm going to make it 6 inches tall. So, because you want a little bit of space, top and bottom. So we're going to make it 6 inches tall. And then it's 4 inches wide. So we're going to go to 4 1/4. And then I did a little spine on the back, so that sort of allows for a bit of growth. And that was, I believe, 1/2 inch. I'm just checking. Yeah. So we're going to have a 1/2 inch spine. So now we can work out what we want. So we're going to have a nice little rectangle like this. And we've got a spine there. So that's 1/2 inch. That's 4 1/4. That's 4 1/4. And that's 6. So we've got 8, 8 1/2, 2/4 is another. So that's 1. So that's 9. So it's going to be 9 inches by 6 is going to give us our cover. So I said that I wanted to use this on the cover, and then that will be on the inside, which will look quite nice with that, I think. So we're going to cut this down to 9 inches by 6 inches. So you would get quite a few of these out of a paper pack. That's come out of its runner. Let's get it back in. That's better. So that's 6 inches. I love this because, you know, you're butting up there, it's 6 inches. Then 9. Can't see. 9. There we go. And we're going to put our spine bits in. So 4 1/4. So we're going to go to 4 1/4 there. And then I'll just swizzle and go to 4 1/4 again. And that should be our 1/2 inch spine. So that'll be quite nice in there. This will come out a little tad as it's tied on, so we've got quite a nice little margin all the way around there. Very pretty. I do like that. So now we want a bit of a pocket. So this is going to be laminated, and I laminate it with the pocket on, and then you do a little bit of slicing afterwards. So we've got to decide what pocket we want. We could actually use that to match, couldn't we? So have I got a bit of that? I thought I might have had a scrap. But I don't. I thought I had a scrap of it. That's not the same, is it? Might look nice though. I do think it'll look nice matching though, won't it? So we'll take a piece. We'll take a piece from here. So I can't remember kind of how I did it last time. It was probably just a random piece that was left on the side. Go for about 2 1/2. And that is 4 1/4, but we don't want it to be 4 1/4 because we need to allow for the creasing. So we'll come in about 1/16. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah. So by taking that 1/16 off, it's going just the other side of that crease. So that's cool. So we do the same on the back. So 4 1/4, back a 1/16. And that will sit on the back there as well. And then I quite liked it that it was not a squared off pocket, so we're just going to take that little bit off there. So use that as a bit of a template. For here. So I've got one for the back. And one for the front, and I do exactly the same. So my middle cover, my middle page rather, is going to have the same sort of effect as well, so that'll be cut in the same way. So keep these little strips. That could be, oh yeah, can make some cards out of that lot. So I'm just going to do a little bead of glue, stick this down, and then I'll go to my laminator and laminate this. You don't have to laminate, but I think lots of us have got laminators nowadays, haven't we? That's just not going to come out. I need to refill it. So I'll put that away. Use my new one. Yeah, I think lots of people have got, oh, do you know, no, I'll do it now. No, stripes and chevrons, no. Make your eyes go funny. So then when that's laminated, then we'll just slit the top and we'll have our pocket, but this will be in place because it'll be difficult to stick one on top of a laminated sheet. I saw this years ago, absolutely years ago, when I first started looking at videos on travellers' notebooks. And I kept thinking, I'm going to make one, anyway, I never did. And back in the day when we could go on holiday and go abroad, we went to America, amazing trip, and I bought myself a TN. That's what I wanted. My son gave me some spending money, bless. So I, yeah, treated myself to a TN. But I still wanted to make one. So that's that. So I am going to go and laminate that. It's important to put the creases in before you laminate it, because it's really hard to put them in otherwise. So that's going to look proper nice, isn't it? Cooking on gas. So I'll get that laminated. Okay, so I've slept and I got up this morning and I thought, oh, actually, I might round the corners. So that's what I'm going to do. Before I laminate it, I thought, let's do some rounded corners on this one, just to be a bit different. And then we can compare and decide which we like best. So there we go, rounded corners. Yeah, so got my laminator already, so I'll just do that. So there it is, all laminated. So I'm going to use my trusty old guillotine to cut this. You can cut it on your trimmer, but I just worry about it prematurely blunting my blade. So leave a little bit of a border because there's like a lip around it. So, and I've placed it so that there was a gap at the top. So there's a bit of a gap all the way around. Well, a margin really. Like so. And I keep thinking I'm gonna come up with something to use those bits. So I'm gonna round these corners as well. So I have not done this before and it's not liking it actually. So maybe we need the scissors. I've kind of made I have got a chomper, but not a round one. I've got chompers that, there, that worked. So it does make a mark. Oh, that one went through. Maybe I just didn't have enough stroke. Well, it might have gone through, but it didn't slice it. But it gives me enough of a mark to follow. There we go. And so if you've got a chomper, they'll work. They go through anything. But I never bought the rounded ones. I didn't mind the ones that were different shaped, paying that amount of money. But oh, I have got a really strong one actually. I just remembered I got it free. Oh, this will do. This will do. There we are. So they are slightly curved, and I'm going to put back in those creases, and this is where it was important to already have them creased, because it's hard to get a good crease once it's laminated if it wasn't already established. There we go. And my thoughts for this sort of journal was it's something that would like go in your handbag and you'd pull it out, and so therefore having a nice laminated cover was sort of perfect for it. Got a bit of bubble in there, but I don't mind. Didn't have that on the other one. So now the trick for opening this. So I need my craft knife. It'd fallen on the floor. So I keep these corks. So Ed is partial to single malt and I am partial to good quality gin, and a lot of them have these sort of lids, so I keep them for like my sharp tools. So I've got like pokey tools in them, this in them, something else I've got in them, but I can't remember. Anyway, so here's my craft knife, and you've got to just be really careful, and you're just trying to go through. There's like a slight bit there because of the two layers where it's sort of not stuck down, and you kind of want to slit it there. So I did the other one sort of freehand, and so you want to make sure that you're just going through the layer of laminate and not through to the paper. So I sort of did it. You can kind of hear it and feel it. So I just did it in short strokes. I remember watching somebody do this. They were making a whole, what do they call them? Landing boards? I can't remember. Dashboards, that's it. And I thought, gosh, you're brave. But there you go. If you just go gently, it works. And so you get your nice little pocket there. The underside of this and then the other side I haven't laminated, but it doesn't matter. So you've got a nice pocket, and I've seen people do multiple pockets, which may be something that I do next. That is that. I've got a little bit there. Don't like the look of. I might just snip that little bit of laminate off. There you go. Nothing to see now. Oh, lovely jubbly. There we go. So that's that bit. So then you need to attach your elastic. So what I did was I put 2 eyelets in at the top and at the bottom for putting the elastic round. Okay, so I have got a crocodile, and this makes the holes really well. So you've got a 3/8 and a 1/8. I'm going for not a 3/8, 3/16 and an 1/8. I'm going for the 1/8, and I've got it set at 3/16. Just eyeballing it in the middle, top and bottom, and it just means that the elastics then don't have to go over the top, which they do on like some T-ends, but I wanted it to be internal, which is why I've done it so we've got that much space there, so that that fits in between those two holes. So that will hold it nicely. So then I'm going to put an eyelet. You don't have to put an eyelet. If you haven't got one of these and you've just got a hole puncher, that will work too. But I've got eyelets, so I'm going to use them. And I think I've put them away, which is very unusual for me. There, so I've got oodles of eyelets in the 2 different sizes. And I bought just loads. When I bought this initially, I just bought loads and loads of eyelets on eBay. And so we've got lots of colours. And so deciding which one. I might go for yellow or that sort of orangey colour, because I never use them. Not my favourite colours, but I think it would go with this. So dinky little ones. Don't use them very often, but perfect for this purpose of making a small hole there. Yeah, like that colour. So you've got a sticky down bit, and then you've got the Mexican hat bit, and you've got to sort of match up the right one. There we go. Nice little hole. Displays them out nicely that side. I say you don't have to do this. I mean, with the laminating, it's not actually going to tear, but if you've got one, then why not use it? There we go. I think my laminator might have been benefited from it being a little bit hotter. I think these laminate ones might be slightly thicker than the ones I used on the original. So I haven't got elastic, so this would be what you would use now, is a bit of elastic. I don't have any, so I'm just gonna tie it for the moment with the baker's twine, because that's what I've got. There. It's not the best, but it'll do for demonstration purposes. This will be changed to a bit of elastic. There we are, just a little bow, make it look a bit pretty. And then you find the centre. Make sure if we got an uppy or downy on this, yeah, that one's directional. Pop that in, like so. And then you've got a reusable cover that you can add more to if you want to. And then I did 2 more eyelets to tie it closed. So in exactly the same way, I took my smallest hole, I eyeballed the centre, made a hole, and then eyeballed the other side. You could measure, but there, my eyeball's pretty good actually, quite chuffed with that. 2 more. So that's our little eyelet, and then a bit of baker's twine, doubled it over, poked it through the hole, and then just put the ends through the loop hold that. Same on the other side. And there we have it. So I'm going to leave this as part 1 because I imagine this is quite long, and then I'll come back in part 2 and we'll put pockets in and I'll make tags. I haven't made tags for this one yet, so I'll put pockets in and make tags and sort of decorate it. But for now, that is the end of part 1, and there should be a little link that will come up to take you to part 2. If not, I'll link it down below so that you can get there. Okay, see you in part 2. All the details will be over on my blog. I'll link to all the items as well. This paper is only available free until the 28th of February. Okay, so you've got to get in there quick. Free with a £45 order. Okay, see you soon.